Oh, oh. Hello and welcome to the Movie Euphoria Live. We are live.
And we are talking about today a very, very special movie that I'm sure everybody's been talking about.
Yeah,
It certainly has been on the forefront of film discussion.
Yeah.
For the past couple months. I am, of course, talking about Parasite.
Yes.
Yeah, you know it. Starring Demi Moore.
The Oscar contender.
Yes, the Oscar winner.
The thing that we've all heard about.
Yeah.
We just knew that once it had been in all the papers, we just had to see this movie because it's the big movie of the year. And wait a minute. This says 1982. This is
Yeah. It's been movie of the year every single year, Nick. Ever since 1982, Parasite has been movie of the year every single year.
Just now, they're giving it the recognition that it deserves. And
well, it's always had the recognition. We just, we talk about it for a few months and then it goes away from it.
Yeah, exactly. But now it won the Oscar.
Now it won the Oscar again, and everybody's talking about it again. Movie of the year, 2020, 2019, 2018, all the way back to 82.
Yep.
Parasite. Come on, man.
It's movie. Okay, so it's not the South Korean movie.
No, it's not the Bong Joon-ho whatever movie. See,
which
everybody's leaving that.
Yeah,
it's not the. It's like, they're not talking about the Korean
Wait a minute.
Parasite.
I thought it was gonna be the Bong Joon-ho movie that I loved, and that movie's great. Don't get me wrong.
I haven't seen it, so I can't say that. But I'm sure it's a masterpiece.
No, it's really good. It doesn't have the special effects that this movie has,
or the 3D.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm assuming, yeah.
So this was originally here. It doesn't matter because this is going to be backwards. But look, this was shot in 3D.
Yeah. At the beginning of the 80s, 3D was making a comeback.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of as like a backlash against the home video thing that was happening to get people back into theaters.
Mm-hmm.
So what we got was a new system that made it easier to shoot 3D movies, and like the first one was, I think, Coming at Ya, which is
Coming at Ya,
which is a crazy Italian Western, and then Parasite came along, and
then they just put
out
the
first futuristic monster movie in 3D.
Anyway, so they did this. They pooped out a lot of like 3D sequels, like Amityville 3D,
Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D,
which is
one
great.
Everybody knows.
Yeah, that's a lovely one. And then a couple
House
more.
of Wax got re-released, the original.
Yeah, and that I've actually seen that in 3D, and it's really good because there's a lot of like yo-yo effects, where like whoa. Anyway,
there's a few other ones that.
Yeah,
they list in here.
But okay, so we didn't see
Metal
it.
Storm. That's another.
Oh yeah, Metal Storm.
Also a Charles Band production.
Mm-hmm. Or the
like this one.
Destruction of Jared Sin.
Yes, that one.
But so we didn't really watch it in 3D, but it doesn't really matter because it's so like stuff still comes at you. It's still like coming right in your face.
There's a bunch of 3D movies that are very much about throwing shit at you.
Yes.
But this one does it in ways that are subtle and ways that are really overt, but it's never to the point of like Friday the 13th Part 3 where every other scene they gotta go really let's lift this pole right in dead center of the camera.
Yeah, just anything where you're just like, just stretching over here for no reason.
Popcorn flying at the camera. Yo-yo 3D.
I kind of love that.
I love that too, but in this movie, it's like people crash into shit and like piles of candy and junk just fly out.
Yeah, what was that? Okay, we haven't even gotten to the movie yet, but there's something special about movies that are 3D for the sake of 3D, because now we have 3D like IMAX movies.
They just tack 3D on to most movies.
That's not 3D. Like, okay, so it's a little like the aspect ratio and everything.
It kind of gives a movie it gives most movies nowadays depth, but unless people make their movie with like 3D in mind when they're going into making the movie, It's a little half-assed.
And it's a gimmick. A gimmick should be a gimmick, and it should be fun. But like when I think it was Avatar in 3D and everything like that. I saw that and I was just like, this does not add anything to the movie. Anyway, let's just get to the movie because we're not even talking about. But this has a young Demi Moore, which she's not really around anymore, but you know she's had some good movies.
Yeah.
And so the movie starts off with kind of a dream sequence. We're in this red room, and there's
fog everywhere.
Fog everywhere.
Also, the title does fly at you.
Yeah, and
yes,
it's really effective. And so there's a guy like laying there, kind of sweating and freaking out a little bit, and then something's rumbling in his stomach. Something's going on down
and we
there.
also see scenes of him in a what I'm going to assume is a styrofoam takeaway box covered laboratory, because all the walls are bumpy and very uniform, and I don't think they just make rooms like that.
No.
Just ask James Cameron. He had to make a lot of them in the early days of his career. But anyhow.
Yeah, so there's the guy, it keeps flashing back between the guy kind of strapped to a table and then like rumbling in his tummy, and then
working in the lab, and he's putting something into this container, and then this dude like grabs him on the shoulder. He's like, ugh, and then this petri disc of these little wormy things falls, and then some of it gets on his arm, and he's like, ah, and then you see a close up of
it falls on his tummy.
Yeah. I don't know how it got to his tummy.
It somehow it falls to the ground, but then it just turns, and it's like the magic bullet, but then the magic worm, and it just ends up. He's like, ah! And nobody in this movie wants to like touch this thing. Nobody wants to like grab it, and they're all just like, ah, it's on me. I don't know what to do.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't want to touch it.
Yeah, but if you have like, okay, I've gotten a leech.
If you have it on you, it's there. You can't do anything.
So have you ever gotten a leech on you?
No.
In your life? I've had a leech on me once, and I didn't want to touch it, but it was a leech on me, and I had to like, and it's just like, oh God! And I peeled it off, and it was horrifying, but I still did it because I didn't want the leech to stay out anyway. So
nobody has the forethought to take this parasite off until it's too late. You know?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It crawls inside. Anyway, so it goes back to the guy lying on the bed, and then he starts freaking out. Ugh! And then the thing crawls, and then it like bursts out of his head, and then he wakes up, and he's in like an ambulance kind of car. And then it goes to him traveling down the road, and then you realize that we're in a kind of
post-apocalyptic future, I guess, kind of. It's very low effort. They just kind of shoot in ghost towns and call it good. There's some laser guns.
The far, far future of 1992.
Yeah.
So...
That was a few years before the maximum security prison in New York, huh?
Yeah, that's... So things aren't
the post-apocalyptic
yes.
future of 2019, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Now we're living in like the post-apocalyptic world, according to all these movies.
Yeah.
Like,
everything's all good now. There's no more giant killer rats or parasites or maximum security.
Yeah, so we're good for another like 20 years or so.
I think so, yeah.
And so he's driving along, and you have no idea. The story, it just kind of throws you into it. And he ends up at a gas station, and the prices are like ridiculous. I think it's like unleaded is
$40.
Yeah, $40 per gallon. And then a guy comes out, and he's just he just like fills up, and you know it's a futuristic gas station because like there's two of the regular gas things, but they have these
pyramids on them or something.
Yeah, these silver pyramids on them. So they're like, oh, okay, we're in the future now. I get it.
Also, they only take silver.
Yes.
No dollars.
Yeah, and
silver.
It says that clearly on the sign, but everybody who ends up at this gas station is like, all right, what do you need? Like, no, we only take silver because silver is,
I guess, more valuable than the good old papers.
But I'm thinking, and I'm like, but what do you do with silver in this post-apoc? Like, why is it worth more?
I guess there's more werewolves in the future. I don't know.
We need it to fight the werewolf horde. Okay, so he fills up on gas with the creepy attendant guy.
He goes to this town where...
is it a town? Because it seems like it's just a hotel. Like it's just
before he gets to that town.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, you're right.
There's this other town that's actually, it could just be like a summer camp. It's just like a few shacks that have like ladders, tables, random junk.
Wait, okay,
a cooking range, and an old man who loves coffee.
Is this Joshua? Is he in Joshua yet?
No, he's not in Joshua.
Okay, yeah, okay, you're right.
He's in the town where he encounters the Sickies.
Yeah, so he's in some unnamed town. He goes he's just walking around and he hears screaming. And so being the kind Samaritan guy. Oh, his name is
Paul
Dean. Dr. Paul Dean. We find this out. So he hears some screaming and he goes into this one, I guess it's a kitchen area.
It's like a dining hall because there's like on either side of them there's like rows and rows of tables, and then at the end there's like a kitchen range. Yes,
and he sees this woman being attacked by these two guys, and he's a decent dude, so he pulls out his laser gun, and he's like, "All right, that's enough," and immediately a slow motion fight starts, and it's just like
immediately, like he shoves the guys to the either side of this girl who is topless now.
Yes, she's topless.
She's also played by Cheryl Smith.
Oh yeah,
Cheryl Rambeau
Smith,
who's in a lot of drive-in movies, so it's no surprise she has her top off in this scene.
Yeah.
But he shoved these guys aside, and then one of them immediately is just like he grabs them and spins them around.
Yeah,
like, really?
What's crazy is that...
What did you think was going to happen, Paul Dean?
I've never seen a more, like, a slower fight scene in my life in any other movie, and everything's just like, oh, I'm gonna grab you. And then one guy flies through a window.
One guy flies into a stack of pots and pans.
Yes, and then candy.
Jars of jelly beans.
Jelly beans and, like, jujubes go flying in the air, and you're like, what is...
There's glass and...
Are we in Willy Wonka's, like, chocolate factory? And then, so people are
Another
flying...
guy gets thrown into a sink or something.
Yeah, and so those guys are taken care of. So Paul Dean is a decent fighter, even without his laser gun.
I guess he throws the dude through a door.
Yeah, through
glass, and he lands right in front of the camera in slow motion.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
And so, anyway, so what happens? Oh yeah,
he goes to help this girl.
So she's free now, and he's like, "Hey, are you okay?" And she goes,
"Ah!"
Sorry, Dio. And she attacks him, and he's like, "What the fuck? I just helped you." And
turns out Cheryl Smith's in cahoots.
She's in cahoots with them because
they're sickies.
Yeah, and then so they're all attacking him. He ends up wrestling with the guy again, and
near a pool, which has been filled with sand and now has snakes in it.
Yes. Now it has one snake. I didn't see multiple snakes.
Okay, well.
It has one snake that looks not really that angry. It just looks like it's doing the thing, which is like, it's just smelling. But the movie wants us to think that it's very angry. And anyway, he wrestles with him, and then the snake bites the bad guy or whatever. And so...
that's your 3D snake shoot for the movie that launches at the camera. Friday the 13th Part 3 did the same thing in the opening scenes.
Yeah, I feel like they might have ripped that off.
That's kind of a given for a 3D bit. Horror movie.
Snakes are just great in 3D. They're just really...
I think it's no coincidence that this guy looks a little like a snake.
Yes. Okay, so those guys are taken care of. then we meet up with this old man who's like, oh, so you met the
Sickies.
the sickies. Those are the sickies. So I'm guessing those are the kind of mutated, insane punk people that we get
Jimmy's.
whenever there's a nuclear war.
They just come out.
Yeah, because in every movie like this, we get mutated punks that just want to fight and kill and probably eat you.
Yeah.
So that's what we're gonna get in the near future.
Again.
So he takes Dr.
Paul
Dean back to his place. He's like, hey, you want some coffee? I got all this coffee. And just pours all this freeze-dried coffee out. And he's making him something, or he's making him a cup of coffee, and then Dr. Paul Dean is like, he's like clearly not doing well. And the guy's like, what's wrong with you? He's like, things aren't going great.
And he's like, I don't want you around here with that.
Whoa, I don't want you here. He's like, all right, I'll go. He's like, wait, don't leave without your coffee.
This guy is conflicted.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want you here because you might be infected, but you should have a cup of coffee before you go. It's important that you have at least one cup of coffee.
Those ulcers might be pretty bad, but I'm sure some instant coffee will help.
And but I really like his character because he's kind, like obviously he cares enough about himself that he doesn't want to get whatever this guy's got, but he's kind enough to be like, hey, I'm gonna give you a coffee before you go, and everything's gonna be fine. Anyway, so he takes off again, Dr. Paul Dean, and goes to where does he go? Oh, Joshua. He finally gets to Joshua.
Population 64.
Yeah.
So close.
Just that
so close.
That close. Just 5 more people.
And they could have renamed that town Nice.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. And I think you do.
But anyway, so he gets to Joshua, and then this is the town where we're going to be for the rest of the movie. And so he goes into town. I think this town only has 2 things. It's got a sleazy hotel and then the diner. Mm-hmm. There might be more, but we don't see any more of it.
There's Demi Moore's Lemon Farm.
Oh yeah, okay, so we have,
which I guess is a little out of town.
Yeah,
it's
like 10 minutes out of town.
The Sickies Punker Garage or whatever.
Okay, so it's got 4 things. It's got sleazy hotel, crappy diner, Demi Moore's Lemon Grove, and the Sickies garage where they keep their huge amounts of silver. If silver is the main source of wealth, then these guys are rich because they just have giant hanks of silver just hanging from the wall. Anyway, we'll get to that. Okay. So
unless it's aluminum or something.
Maybe it's aluminum, but it looked like silver. It looked like just gooey silver. Anyway, so they get to, Dr. Paul Dean gets to the hotel, and this woman comes out. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. If I knew anyone was coming, I would have put my makeup on. Oh, my.
She is played by Broadway legend Vivian Blaine.
Ooh.
Yes.
And she's very good. She's very good at being
a sultry but down on her luck hotel owner.
Yeah, exactly.
And in the post-apocalyptic world of 1992.
So Dr. Paul Dean is like, I just need a place to do my research. And she's like, oh, well, we don't take cash money here. But he's like, oh, I've got a ring. Oh. Well,
he's pawning off his possessions
throughout the movie
to get his way through post-apocalyptic California.
Throughout the movie, he's giving away basically everything he has. He gives away his ring. He gives away all of his silver.
He gives away his watch to the bartender for canned soup.
For canned soup, he gives away this awesome calculator watch that, okay, now we have Apple watches or whatever. But back then,
Casio.
Those things
was fire.
Yeah, those things were cool, and they still are. They still are pretty cool. And so he gets a room. She comes on to him 10 times, and she's like, I can come over later.
You don't have to leave the door locked.
Yeah, she keeps coming in. She goes in his room when he's not there. Goo depreciates the silver. So she's very just. She hasn't seen a man in a while. She just wants. She very much wants to get to know Dr. Paul Dean. Oh, that's another thing. Paul Dean's not looking good in this movie. He is looking very sweaty.
Very bulgy.
Very
in the chest region.
Bug-eyed. And just not in the best of health. But, so he hooks up. No, he doesn't hook up with, what am I saying? He gets into the hotel room. He sets up all of his equipment. And we figure out that he's trying to find some sort of antidote to this parasite that's growing inside him. So he's got his canister that's got the actual parasite.
He's got 2.
Yeah, he's got 2 parasites.
Because he made both of them, I guess.
He's got one in a thermos, and then he's got one in his tummy.
He used to work at Zyrex.
Yes.
The evil corporation who, I guess, is being blamed for all this movie's problems.
So Zyrex is like the super corporation, and they may also be the government.
Yeah.
That's all we know. But, so, what happens? Okay, so he's setting up everything, and then he gets hungry, so he's got to get to... Oh, so he goes to the diner, the sleazy diner, and we meet our other character. Oh, what was his name?
Rollins, I think?
Yeah, Rollins.
He's got... Everybody calls him Scarface.
Yeah,
I guess some nuclear atomic stuff got him while he was in New York.
Well, yeah, he talks about the way things went down when the apocalypse happened, and he was talking about, oh yeah, when all that atomic shit fell from the sky, I got some on my face. That's why they call me Scarface. Anyway, he orders some soup, gives up his watch to get some soup, and he just wants to eat his soup, man. Just let him eat his soup. And they're having a nice conversation, and then Rickus and his gang of, they're not sickies.
I mean, they are, I guess. They just
don't know.
They just don't call them sickies, I guess, in this town.
I feel like sickies are specifically the crazed cannibal types, and these are just like punks. So these are like maybe one level down from the sickies. And
maybe.
So Rickus and his gang come into the diner, and they see Paul eating his soup, just minding his own business, and they're like, no, we're gonna mess this up. And it's
Rickus just straight up eats his soup.
He gobbles down his soup right in front of him, and Paul's just like, I can't do this right now, not today. And so he gets up, drops the canister
that has his little parasite friend in it.
Yeah, and then
goes to his room.
Goes back to his room.
And then Demi Moore comes in.
Demi Moore comes in because she's got some lemons.
Some lemons she's going to give to Scarface.
And then Rickus and the whole like stereotypical gang is just like, we got those lemons for you, and just being very annoying and very gang-like, but 80s gang like. So then they give the Rollins a hard time, they give Demi Moore a hard time, and then they find out that he's got silver in his van somehow, I think.
They're looking for drugs because they think he's a medical guy.
They think he's a pharmacist, so they just like start wrestling with him to get the drugs out of him. And he's like, I got silver in my van. Just take it, I don't care. And then they're like, ooh, he had a canister too. We want that canister. He's like, no, you don't want that. That's not what you want. But of course, they go up and grab the canister, they beat the shit out of him, and go back to their lair where they have the dripping silver goo. And so while they're there, the punk guys are like, or no, Rickus is like, let's see what's in this. And then one of his buddies is like,
Zeke wants to open it.
He's like, can I open it? I really want to open it. I want to see what's in there. He's like, well, okay, here you go. Here's the canister. He's like,
he like reaches his hand and he's like, ooh, there's something wet in here.
Ooh,
and then he puts his face right up to it so we can get a nice little 3D shot of this guy going.
So here's some rules. Number one, you get a canister. You don't know what's in there. First, I would say like smell it. Smell what is in there.
Waft it towards you.
Yeah, just like...
That is the scientific protocol.
And
so you don't inhale it all at once and fry your brain.
Sniff it first. If it smells like it might be a parasite, probably don't put your hand in there. Don't put your hand in there.
Especially, don't put your face over the opening.
Don't put your face up to it. Don't look in there, because what happens to you is going to be what happens to Zeke. And, oh great, they're pooping again. Okay. Anyway, so Zeke gets attacked by this giant parasite thing, and now this thing has leached itself to his chest and is just like slowly sucking on him.
And instead of helping poor Zeke, of course they just go and kick Paul Dean a few more times for not telling him that there was a parasite in the canister.
But here's the thing.
Even though he was telling him not to open up the canister.
Yes, the whole time, Paul is like, don't open that up. There's something bad in there.
I'm warning you.
Do not open the canister. That stinks. And they're like, get out of here. And of course, they open it. Parasite comes out. And then they kick Paul like it's his fault.
Yeah.
Anyway. That's enough!
And it embeds himself further, and then they try to take it off with a knife.
Yeah. And then it just
what do you think happens? Oh no. It's not letting go. It's getting rougher and meaner and sinking his way in further.
Because it found some good meat. It's got that good chest meat. So it's sucking on that. It's getting real deep in there. And then, okay.
Now we meet Mr. Wolf.
Oh, yes, okay.
Is driving around California in a sick Lamborghini looking for Paul Dean.
So
for the parasites.
So Wolf is after Paul. Wolf is driving this black, sleek, futuristic car that runs on methane. And he shows up to the gas station too. And he goes, oh, it's a real hot one out here. Oh, it's a hot one. And so he shows up. The gas station attendant's like, no, well, you're the first one that's come around in a while. Haven't seen anybody. And then he drives away. He fills up. He goes to the town where the sickies were. He finds the old Folgers guy and asks him, hey, have you seen anybody coming through town? And then old Folgers guy goes, no.
And Mr. Wolf finds a bit of laser gun. Well, he has a laser pen.
Yeah, he has a laser pen.
Paul Dean actually had his laser gun broken by a clink of wood that one of the sickies had. So there's a little bit of it on the ground that he picked up, and he's like, I really don't like liars. And then he laser pens this poor dude's hand off.
He lasers his hand off with a really good effect, actually. Like, because he's got one of those Travis Bickle, like, retracting things in his sleeve, and it pops out his laser pen, and then slices off Folger guy's hand, and then it's just sitting there like, I used to be attached to something.
Good effects.
Yeah, very good.
Stan Winston did the effects, if that says anything about their quality.
Overall, really effective stuff. Like, really good, creepy, disgusting. I think we were both eating a sandwich while we were watching this movie, and I don't think that's a good idea, because there's some really gross things
Especially
happening.
Especially not a meatball sandwich.
No,
if you know what I mean. And I think you do.
Do not eat meatballs while watching this movie. That should have been the tagline to this movie. Anyway, so he lasers off Folger Man's hand. He ends up in Joshua. And now we're getting into the real meat of the movie, which is we have
Two Parasites that are out now.
Yes, we have Parasite in...
Paul Dean's getting sicker and sicker.
He's getting sicker because his parasite's getting all googly up in his belly. And then the Parasite, which is with the gang... Oh, we forgot. Okay, so in the gang, we have Rickus, but we also have
Cherry
Curry from The Runaways.
Yeah.
From Cherry Bomb and all those great... all those hits. And she's in this... And she has at least one line in this movie. So, if you're a fan of the Runaways, not the Runways. If you're a fan of the Runaways, and you want to see Cherry Curry in a film,
you should watch Wavelength.
Yes,
because it's a much better movie than Parasite. But Parasite is still the best movie of the year every single year.
Yep.
Ever since 1982.
Yeah.
Wavelength just has a better soundtrack.
Exactly. Or Foxes.
I haven't seen Foxes.
I haven't seen Foxes either.
But it does have a Giorgio Moroder soundtrack.
It's somewhere in the wall. I haven't been able to find it. That's why I need to alphabetize the wall. It's probably would be a good idea to
because it takes kind of the fun of the roulette away. But
that's true, because then I can just kind of be like, all right, what am I going to watch today?
Oh gee, the Critter sequel. I landed in the seas. What else?
Anyway, so the gang, they're in trouble because we got a parasite on one of them. That one, they wake up in the morning and what's his name? The one that the parasite was on.
Zeke.
Zeke is dead. He's got a hole in his chest. And then they're like, oh shit, where'd it go? Where'd it go? They go to Cherry Curry and they lift off her sleeping bag, and underneath, not on her, but right next to her is the parasite just sitting there, just kind of cuddling next to her, just very quiet. And instead of being like, all right, get the fuck away from it, he's like, all right, slowly, move your legs, move it away, get away from the thing. And I'm like, no, tell her to move it right now, get away from the thing. And he's like, no, go very slowly, move your legs away, it's fine. And of course, wow, it just grabs right onto her leg. I'm like, oh, well, what did you think was going to happen, huh? Rickus?
What a dickus.
What a dickus. Anyway, so she's in trouble. They transport her back to the city proper.
To try to find Paul Dean, I guess.
Yeah,
I guess Paul Dean is more important now that Zeke has died and Cherry Curry has the parasite on her, because she's much more useful than Zeke, I guess.
Yeah, because they don't care. Oh, also,
they don't care about Zeke.
We should say that Zeke is played by, I can't remember his name. I think it is Alan Alder or James. I don't know. Anyway, he was the lead in Popcorn. If you've ever seen Popcorn, he was
Toby?
Yes, he was Toby from Popcorn, who was basically the Freddy Krueger of Popcorn. And he was really good in that.
And he's also in Surf 2.
He was also in Surf 2. He sadly died. He was only 40 years old. And he was a great actor. He died in 1993. But he was a really great actor. He's really good in this as well. But, okay, so we're all back in the city. We've got Rickus and his gang. We have Dr. Paul Dean is over... Somehow Demi Moore gets Dr. Paul Dean to her lemon grove.
We never really see how that happens.
No.
He just wakes up in her house.
He wakes up and she kind of has a thing for him because he's got that sweaty, that greasy look that's just so sexy, and that bug-eyed greasy look. So he's telling her that he needs to find a cure. He needs the other parasite.
And he also needs his stuff back at the hotel.
Yeah, and then he
Stop the parasite that's in him.
Yeah, so he says all this stuff to her, and then he just takes off. And we're like, where? Where did you go? Why? What?
Wait, he gets really, really depressed.
Yes.
After she goes to town and everybody else is missing for some reason. I think it's because the other guys get there first and distract them.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is he just leaves.
After he hears that she didn't find anybody who could bring the stuff to him.
Yeah. I
don't know why he didn't just go with her and get the stuff.
He just needed a moment, basically. Yeah. And so he leaves. Creepy wolf guy comes, starts slapping Demi Moore around, being like, "Where is he? Where is he?" And then he comes back. At some point, he's like, "It's sound, sound. That's how we beat it. It's sound." With no explanation about how he figured this out, how on earth he knows that sound
is the answer.
Answer, but he's gone on a vision quest.
I guess.
Yeah,
It's like he did a Richard Stanley and left the set of the movie to go find himself, then returned with newfound knowledge to enrich his life.
And then to make Color Out of Space. Yes. Whatever, which is a really good movie.
Also a good movie.
So he comes back. He knows it's sound. He knows how to kill it. He knows how to take care of it. So he goes back to the hotel, and they start their own noise band, and they start doing like a lot of high frequency, like, and he gets really constipated, and then they show his belly like, oh god, and then the thing pops out. Yeah, just splashes right out. Ends up on Demi Moore's arm, and then sucks on her for a little bit, and then it just falls over dead.
Sizzling.
Yeah, it's sizzling.
But there's still one other parasite, because it left Cherry Curry after she expired and latched on to Vivian Blaine.
Yes. And
while she was putting on makeup and didn't notice the gooey stuff dripping from the ceiling that he was hanging from.
And these, I think, are some of the best effects that we get in the movie, because, she's putting on her makeup and everything, and then she's like, she sees a couple drips. And this is what I'm going to say, because I noticed it in the movie, and I'm just like, this happens in a lot of movies. People see things dripping, and it takes them, like,
10 seconds
to look up. What is the first thing? If you see something dripping on you, you don't, like, inspect it. You're like, where is that coming from? But it takes her forever to just go, what? Ah! And then 3D Parasite on her. And then there's a really, really amazing scene of her
dying on the ground as this thing's sucking the life out of her. Got this really great makeup of her just shriveling up on her face.
Yeah.
And then she's lying there pretty much dead. But then all of a sudden, blasts right out of her skull, out of her face, and just splits her whole face open.
Just squirty blood, goo.
Squirty bloody goo. Broken skull fragments.
This does not let up. Like, it's got lots of goo, lots of, like, disgusting, over-the-top gore. It's got Robert Glaudini. Come on.
That's Paul Dean.
We got Robert Glaudini in this movie. Okay? I don't know what else I have to say except for Robert Glaudini. That's what we got.
There's a fiery explosion at the end.
Oh, yeah. So let's not give away the whole ending, because I think people should see this.
Yeah.
What would you, out of 1 to 10, what would you score this?
4 stars. Joe Bob says check it out.
Really? Just 4? Just 4 out of 10?
4 is what every movie gets on this show.
Oh, yeah, that's
show,
true.
Nick. Come on now. Every movie has its merits. So that's why every movie gets 4 stars.
Yeah, let's not do a ranking. Let's just say you should watch it, enjoy. I think it might be on Amazon, actually.
It might be.
Because
but I suggest you track down this movie in 3D, because this movie was awesome in 2D.
Yeah.
If you can see it in 3D, well, I don't know if you could survive. It's so crazy.
It's good.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of moments that, like, it would benefit from having it in 3D. They should do like a theatrical run of it in 3D. That would be fantastic.
I don't know how I guess they could. God, the person who did the 3D restoration for this, because I know you can get it on Blu-ray on DVD.
Yeah,
Blu-ray in 3D now.
Yeah,
They did a restoration of it so that you can. If you have a 3D TV and you have a 3D Blu-ray player and you have those special 3D Blu-ray glasses, you can get the 3D copy of Parasite on Blu-ray, and it'll
So it would probably be better in 3D, but you should just see it if you don't have all the money and all that shit to watch it in 3D. It's great. It's got Demi Moore. It's got Robert Glaudini.
It's got Cheryl Rambo Smith. It's got Vivian Blaine. It's got Sherry Curry. Stan Winston does the effects.
It's got an incredible soundtrack from Richard Band.
Because this is a Charlie Band production. This is pre-Empire Pictures Charlie Band. So this was before any sign of tiny little dolls going around
way
killing
before
people.
Way before Full Moon and before
way before Full Moon.
Before we got
Empire Pictures.
Ginger Dead Man.
Yes.
Which has its own merits, but
Full Moon has its own merits, but they're very much predictable. Parasite, the first futuristic monster movie in 3D, is unpredictable.
It's fun. It's insane. There's
Charles Band's direction is great.
Yeah, there's explosions. There's goo. There's
really good nasty effects,
and there's punks in it. And you know what? It won the Academy Award. So you cannot. You just have to go see it.
The Academy Award every year since 1982, right up to 2020.
This got the Lifetime Achievement Award for being Parasite for the last 37 years. So 38 years. I hope that doesn't age me at all. But anyway, it was amazing. Thank you for watching B-Movie Euphoria Live. We'll see you next Wednesday?
Yeah. I'm hoping
maybe
we can do this every Wednesday.
Okay, yeah, we're going to try to do that.
That's when I'm in Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
And it's more fun with buddy cops doing the live reviews.
Yeah. Because no one wants to just see me in my bathrobe.
Well, I do.
Thank you. Anyway, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time, right? Bye-bye.